let's do this. Let me move my little microphone over there. I have finally set up these cameras and this phone to have pretty much matching views. So all my peeps from TikTok and all my peeps from Instagram and YouTube can have awesome views of what I draw. Now let's go on to this one. All right, so now we have the chats going on. We have everything ready. All right, I'm excited because this is going to be a fun one today. Because today we get to talk about caricatures. Caricatures are one of the things that I love to talk about the most. I believe that caricatures are the art of exaggerating a face to abnormal proportions, right? Like having the ability to essentially make fun of people by creating fun drawings of them. Now, caricatures are something that I have been doing for a very long time. So it'll be a little bit easier for me to do these than some other people. Now, I'm going to aim to try to explain to you the basic essence or the basic concept behind caricatures and how you can actually start getting into them and how you can practice them. Yeah, caricatures are really fun. It allows you a lot of freedom when it comes down to designing characters, and it's also going to be a gigantic stepping stone if you are not used to drawing faces, because you gotta get used to drawing a lot of different facial features. All right, so if the people from my YouTube, Lavish Heart, hello sir. Artem MJ Fox, hey, how are you? Angela Harmon, hello. If you guys can let me know how the video quality is on YouTube, that would be appreciated. I know on TikTok it's amazing because it's on my phone, and I wish that I could make a phone into, let's do zoom powers here. So we have a little bit closer view of that. I can't do that on the stream on YouTube, but I can do it on my phone. On TikTok, Psycho Butterfly, how are you? Let me plug in my phone. Make sure that my thing doesn't die while we are streaming. Why are you not charging? There you go. Perfect. All right, so looking good. Great. So caricatures are an interesting thing because you can either learn how to do anatomy and how to do a bunch of like really complicated things and learn how to do it like that, or you can simply just draw shapes and learn how to do it like that too. I did not know any anatomy when I learned how to do caricatures. I learned through essentially what they teach you at theme parks whenever you're doing caricatures at theme parks. So they teach you a process, and that is to learn to draw this basic process of lines in this order. Number one, you draw the jawline. Number two, you draw the shape of the chin. Number three, you draw the other side of the jawline. If you can get this notion of movement really quickly, it allows you to be able to draw faces really quick because it maps out the entirety of the bottom part of the face. Now, from there, you would go in and then you would start adding ears. So you would draw your shape for your chin with your chin and your jaw, and then you go into your ears. The ears, for me, they help me map out pretty much the rest of the face because the top of the ears is going to be the eyebrows. And you can put them any way you want. The bottom of the ear is going to be roughly where the nose is. And since I know where the nose is and the eyebrows are, I know where my eyes are going to go. And then the rest I can play around, cartoonify the mouths, make them like bigger, make them smaller, depending on whatever I need for that character or that person. And then it's a lot of understanding how to draw different textures with zigzags. Zigzaggy textures for hair. So now that is the basic premise of drawing a caricature. Drawing a basic head, a basic shape, and then creating elements that are going to replicate what a person looks like in either a simplistic or an exaggerated way. Now, what do we do? How do we determine what to draw from a person? Because, you know, it's not a portrait, so you're not trying to copy everything identical 1,000%. I like to think about it like this. If you are going to be drawing a person, think of the top 3 things that make that person's face their face. Now, I'm going to use me as an example because I'm somebody that you guys can measure out, like see, and you guys already know what I look like. So I already look like this. Right? So my logo in itself is essentially everything that is making me me. But let's break it down so you guys understand how that translates into different elements and how to like play with that. The top 3 things in my face that make me me is my mustache, my glasses, and my nose. I have a relatively big nose, so I like to draw it relatively big. Now, if I add those 3 elements into any drawing, let's just add these basic elements into my drawing right now. That already looks like me. I kinda like a very simplistic version of me, but it already looks like me. Now, if we did those same traits, but we changed the face shape to something a little bit wider, for example, smaller features, it still retains the same elements and the same characteristics of the person. It just looks like a more exaggerated, like chubby person in this case. But it still looks like the same thing. Now you can do that with skinny shapes. You know, like make everything more elongated. That would work as well. The thing is, once you understand how to draw enough features, like if you just sit down and draw different noses one day, right? Let's just say that you just sit down and you want to learn how to draw noses. So you just sit down and just start drawing different shapes, start figuring out where the little like hooky parts are, where the little ball parts are, how the little wings on the side of the nose like work. Like just sit down and study different facial features. That's going to increase the ability of you to be able to create these different faces. Now, the thing that a lot of people happen to run into whenever they are drawing caricatures is the fact that they don't know how to draw a certain feature. Like I said, you don't need to know anatomy to be able to get into caricatures. What pencil are you using? I'm using a pen. I'm not using a pencil. I'm using a round, big round stick pen. So yeah, I don't draw with pencil. We are Jacob Warren. We are working on caricatures and explaining to you guys how to delve into that world. So that is what we are going to be discussing today. So let me write it down at the top so you guys know. Caricatures. Caricatures are the act of drawing people silly, drawing people as cartoon forms, drawing people as simple like expressions of themselves, right? A lot of the things that you can use that for is logos, marketing, uh, just for fun. You want to go pick up, girls or guys at a bar, draw some people on a napkin. You want to, like talk to the bartender, draw the bartender on a napkin. Give him or her the drawing. Enjoy free drinks the rest of the night. It has a lot of social aspects too. It's a very, very, very good way to break the ice with people as well. So we already talked about the basic jaw shape. And with this basic jaw, by just being able to create this little trapezoid shape and understanding that it's, three different elements like the jaw and the chin, you can play around with that and create a lot of different shapes. You can make nice, like big burly chins. You can make almost non-existent chins by not even drawing a jawline. Right, so you can have a lot of power over different shapes by being able to just understand that these are three different elements. A chin, which is normally a little ball inside of your face that connects to the sides and your chin and your jaw. The jaw at the top of the jaw, let's draw some more over here. Even if it's like super weird, exaggerated shapes, you still have the chin, curvature. When you have these as a 3/4, you still have the same elements. Only you don't see the other side of the chin. You don't see the other side of the jaw on a 3/4 view. You only see one side of the jaw, and then you see the cheekbone. We'll go over that in a second, though. Okay. Ooh, I'm smudging. Hold on, let me grab my. Bah! Dun 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 dun. Oh, by the way, it is only respect. The utter respect. We have a fallen artist today, Mr. Master Kim. We heard of his death today, and it's honestly, he's just one of the most prolific artists that we've seen like in a very long time, and it's a shame. It's a really sad day that we lost him. I think it was a heart attack. So, throw a moment of silence. That is a terrible, terrible loss. Make sure that this is centered for you guys. I move the camera a little bit. I'm always constantly moving shit. So. Yeah, I'm always messing with the settings and everything. So I mess it up a lot. Okay, so the next thing, I was talking about Kim. Just look it up in any social media. You will probably see a lot of posts mentioning him today. The sad part is about being an artist is that, unfortunately, like the attention span of people are so small that probably within a week or two they'll stop talking about him, and that sounds so bad. That sounds like horrible, but that's just how human nature works, and that's unfortunate. I remember seeing him draw at a couple conventions, and just seeing him draw live was amazing. I wish that I could have actually had a chance to communicate with him. Yeah. Oh no, he has a lot of apprentices. He has quite a few apprentices out there. So I don't think his art will essentially die out. I just don't think so. I highly doubt that his art will die out. I've competed against a couple, one of his apprentices, and he's amazing. Uh, the, I have a feeling he's gonna be remembered as really, really, really like honored artist. And I hope that one day, I hope that one day when I pass, people have actual like honor like that towards me, because that would be amazing. Let me find the. There it is. Okay, let's start adding some contrast here while we go about it as well, because um, I hate having to go in and do it later. So caricatures, let's review a little bit of what we've talked about so far for everybody that's just joining us right now. Caricatures are the act of creating art or drawings of people that are exaggerated or, in different proportions that they normally are. This can be used in cartooning, this could be used for marketing, this can be used for literally fun, just because you feel like it. But I like to use it mostly because I like to draw myself, and I like to draw the people around me, and I like to make people happy. So I draw human beings in bars or, whenever I go out, because I feel so happy and confident about doing so that it just brings that happiness to everybody around me. Now, that has led for me to have a lot of really cool opportunities to talk to beautiful women, to talk to amazing, awesome bartenders, artists, and that without having to feel like I'm shy, because I'm bringing something, that's going to make someone happy to the table. And it's just a very important skill set in my eyes when it comes down to being an artist, because it also comes with a lot of extra validation to yourself, because once you learn this skill, you will never go hungry again. If you learn this skill, if you learn how to draw caricatures in general, like, you will never be hungry, because you will always be able to make money with a napkin and a Sharpie or a pen, a pencil and a piece of paper, and you'll be able to make money. It's a very, very useful skill set. All right, so we have 200 people on our TikTok. That's amazing. All right, so let's continue on. We were talking about the jaw shape, right? Jaw shapes. So the jaw can be any shape you want, but you just gotta keep in mind that these elements that you're drawing at first, 1, 2, and 3, are 3 different elements. They're jaw, chin, jaw. If you want to draw from a quarter angle, you only draw from one side. Jaw, chin. And then you go into the detail of the face. If you want to draw profile, it's the same thing. You only draw the profile and the chin. Right? So keep in mind that you are drawing a jawline and your chin every single time that you're drawing these first basic lines. Now, once you get used to drawing those in a lot of different ways, you are going to start venturing into the rest of the face. Now, you can start with your ears, like I was talking about. And the ears are very important. A lot of people just simplify them to the most extreme, giving them like something like this. Like a little circle with a little fold. But learning how to draw ears can create a lot of personality when it comes down to your characters. And understanding the shape of the ear is going to help you as well when you turn it to the side or when you start looking at things from behind. Right? You're going to have to realize that these are shapes with depth. And repeat this over and over and over and over again. But everything that you draw has depth. Okay? Being able to see that depth is as simple as just trying to subdivide things you've already drawn. Let's go with this guy. Let's say that I wanted to see if this guy has enough depth when it comes down to the features on his face. So I'm going to just trace the outline of his head. I'm going to go around. This would be the eyebrow, which would go back in and out into the eyeball, down the eyeball and the eyelids into the cheekbone. That would lead my line this way, into the mouth, into the side. Cool. So I'm starting to see that I do have a lot of depth because there's a lot of planes and it's changing a lot of directions as I go down. So I am generating that depth even though I did exaggerate and I used unconventional lines. To be able to do that, I still generated this, right? It's a lot of depth. Let's look at these guys over here. This guy has a lot of depth. Okay, this guy as well. Even the nose has its own basic perspective because we see everything as basic shapes, right? So when you're drawing things, you're going to go on to your ears. Pay attention to the shape of the ears. The ears can be, they have like earlobes. Sometimes they are very, very saggy with the earlobes. Maybe they have like plugs. Maybe their ears are a little bit more cauliflowered eared, than a normal ear because they like got in a fight, or maybe they have like a hearing aid or something like that, so which means that they have an object inside of their ear. So all those things like earrings, headphones, all that stuff help bring a little bit more personality to your character. So that's why I like to draw the ears next. And again, it maps out where your feature line is going to be. The feature line in caricatures is not as straightforward as it is on just a normal cartoon. If you're not aware what the feature line is, it's that section of your face in which you have your eyebrows, eyes, and nose. That also means that your ears are in that line as well. So most of the time when you're drawing characters, that feature line is going to be where most of your expression is. Now that could be shifted up and down, made smaller, made bigger, like we have talked about this before, but the feature line is going to stay consistent within your character. Now that is why I like to draw the top of the face normally when I'm drawing cartoons, but with caricatures it's a little bit different because you got to draw everything within a page. So you don't have and you're not necessarily drawing people with a lot of different facial expressions when you're drawing them from public. You're going to generalize a lot, especially when you're learning. You're going to generalize a lot. And then as you learn new things, you will add that to that. Caricatures is a very funny thing. It's very easy to learn, but it's incredibly hard to master. Okay, it's one of those things that take forever to master because it just grows with your anatomical and perspective and gestural drawing skills. And that is what makes it better down the line. So at first, don't be discouraged. If your drawings are not coming out like you want, it's all growing pains and you're going to eventually have something click. So once you have your feature line, you can come up with everything. But with caricatures, we draw the bottom part first, and then we work our way up. I don't know why my brain works like that, but it seems to function a little bit better for me. There's people that start with the features as first, and that's called inside out. They'll start with all the features. And then they'll go in and draw the rest of the face afterwards. And my brain does not work like that. So I always have something that's slightly off, like the ears will be in the wrong spot, or something will, like the head will be slightly misshapen. That is just because I'm not used to doing it like that, and I never took the time to actually have my brain function like that. I draw from the outside in, and it just makes everything so much easier for me. I can stylize things better, I can position things any way I want, because that's just the process that I got used to. I also like being more like simplistic with my detail, and it's easier to lay down simple detail and use that as a mapping method of the rest of your features when you have already the features, the face set up. It's really hard to start with the little dots and then work your way out to the volume that you want. Let's see. What else can we talk about? Okay, so once you go up from the ears, now you're going to start laying down your actual features. When you're drawing your features inside of your face, you're going to have your jaw, your ears, and the next step that I like to do is to close off the head shape. So I like to draw the outside of the hair first, whatever like type of hair they have. In this case, we're just gonna draw like, messy, like military hair. The outside first. Then, before I start drawing any other part of the hair, I'm going to draw all the features so that I know how big of a forehead I'm going to have. Otherwise, sometimes you end up with like the features pushed down because the hair is not in the right spot. The hair is a lot less important than getting the features in the right spot. So I will go in here. I will use my ears as my reference points for whatever I'm going to be doing in this one. If you want like your eyebrows up and down, you can shift that feature line considerably and create different facial expressions by just shifting that feature line a little bit. Remember, your feature line is just that line that holds your nose up until your eyebrows. You can do it as a mask. You can do it as a, like I said, it can be a mask, it could be lines, it could be squares, it could be subdivisions, it could be a T, it could be any way that you want to think about it. There's a million ways to visualize it. I just like to call it the feature line because that's normally where all my features are going to be. And as long as my features are within that space, they're going to look right. So we have that. Now that I have my eyebrows, I know how much space I'm supposed to have before my hair. Again, we do a lot of Z strokes for hair. Z strokes are the go-to way to draw bangs, hair, and it's just a very simple way to go about it. Okay, so now we go down onto past the feature line. We have our nose. Our noses are going to be just diamonds shaped in different ways. So a diamond, boom, boom, boom. Okay, this is a diamond. The diamond, the bottom part is going to be your little wings, or nostrils, and your shadowy parts. So that could be done in a bunch of different ways. So if you want like a long nostril, just elongate that bottom part of the diamond. Okay. If you want a round one, just round out the diamond. When you're drawing caricatures, you're going to start a lot with your frontal features. You're going to mostly draw from the front. It's just going to be easier for you to start like that. We'll do a class on how to do 3/4 caricatures later on, but for now, let's focus just strictly on drawing things from the front. Now, the eyes, oddly enough, not that important when it comes down to drawing caricatures. It really isn't. You can draw a person's eyes closed like this 99% of the time and just tell them they're smiling and they'll be happy with it. Again, easy to get into, hard to master. So once you practice and learn how to set just all your features in the right places, then you can worry about adding detail to the eyes and like, irises and style and like, eyelashes and all that stuff that comes with wanting to create awesome, fun designs. It comes after. Detail in style always will come after function and form. Okay? You need to learn to understand how to let something be in the proper spot before you can make it look pretty. I have a YouTube channel and it's called Rodgon the Artist. And we have like over 200 videos on there and streams and stuff. Okay, so the people on my TikTok are not showing me enough love. So I need love so that you guys can make me popular here, shit. And all my people on YouTube, go down there and click on the sub. Get me to that 100,000 subs so that I can get that plaque. I want that plaque. I want that damn plaque. Okay, so learn to draw simple before you try to draw like super crazy stuff. Okay, we don't do this. We don't do style until we learn where things fall and how they function and how they are going to be placed there. A lot of hair is a lot of Z strokes, in different ways. Okay, short ones will create fuzz and facial hair. Little ones, you can draw big entire beards by creating long Z strokes. Right? So there's a bunch of different things that you can do with those little simple elements. Hope people don't forget about his work. Yeah. Okay. Please, can you explain how to draw someone with a short beard or stubby beard? Yeah, we'll do it on this guy. So a short beard, if it's really short and stubby, I would draw the jawline instead of drawing the hair, because drawing the hair makes it actually look too fuzzy. So I draw the jawline, and then I would just do very, very light cross hatching to indicate that there's a little bit of layer of fuzz. Someone also asked, how do we draw mouths? In caricatures, it's very easy. Find your two endpoints of your mouth. From there, you're going to connect these like a rubber band. Now, have fun with this because you get to do any shape you want. Let me show you guys a couple examples. Just a rubber band, right? That rubber band will easily be turned into a really dynamic mouth. Another rubber band. Let's do it a little different. Let's give this one lips. Another rubber band. This time let's do a more round one. You can do these in any way, shape, or form and just add negative space, and you're gonna have a very interesting mouth every single time you draw a mouth. The mouth is the biggest shifting part of your face, so it really does not have a base form. But learning how to draw interesting and fun is more important when you're drawing caricatures. Drawing fun and interesting shapes are more important than drawing like precise things. Symmetry is completely overrated. Don't care so much about things being even on both sides. When it comes down to drawing teeth and mouths, do not draw all the teeth. Like, for the love of Jesus. When you're drawing mouths, don't draw every teeth. that looks horrible. Especially when you're drawing with marker, that's really, really tough because the line work is going to be horrible. More so, just do little flicks. Flick, flick, flick. If you do little flicks like that, that just becomes like so much easier. Because you're just indicating the gum line and then letting the person fill in the rest. So just think about it like that. The short stubby beard guy. Okay, so if we want to draw facial hair on this character, first I gotta identify that he has an upper lip. Guys have upper lips too. They originate at the edge of your mouth and then they slightly taper in to your mouth. You don't have to always make voluptuous, gigantic, blah, like filler lips. Just a simple line will do. From there, our stubble is going to be little crosshatches, little baby crosshatches going in the direction of how we want the hair to go. For this part, it fans out from the middle. So we have to make sure that that hair fans out from the middle. And then onto our stubble that we have on our chin that's coming in at an angle. Our chin has roundness, so our facial hair would probably go around the chin, giving us that depth. And then the hair on the sides is angling more towards the side of the face, more so than the front. If you take the time to do this like this, it's going to look pretty. If you just go in and go, that's gonna look like shit. The lower lip has a little bit of shadow. And for the most part, that would be how I would end the caricature. Now, if I was going in and doing a lot more detail on this, I would go in and add eyes, eyelids, maybe an indicator of the upper or lower eyelid as well, and any other sorts of things like a big brow muscle, any wrinkles, any scars that the person might have, any pimples, any freckles. And then you just get better and better at seeing the detail as you progress. So start simple, aka straight up dot eyes, and then work your way onto something a little bit more complex as you start learning how to apply the anatomy knowledge that you have onto the subjects of your cartoons. Let's add some color while we read some comments. All right, so I need more hearts from TikTok. I need you guys to hit that. Like, I need you guys to do that so that TikTok knows that I'm cool. If you guys don't do that, TikTok doesn't know I'm cool, and then it doesn't show my stuff to people. How do you start a hairline? Ooh, hairlines. Yeah, we'll talk about hairlines. Hold on. Let me just add the little color to these. I like to enhance the color on a couple parts of my caricatures. Normally it's the ears, the nose, and the lips. Even if it's a male, I'll normally put like a dab of a color in there. The reason that I do that is because that's so the areas that have blood flowing to them. That's the blood flow lines. So that's where you get blush or essentially more blood circulating to your body. Let me take this off because I think that's what's weighing the phone down. All right. I'm going to rotate this a little bit. I'm sorry for the motion. Can you do necks and shoulders? Yeah, I can talk about necks and shoulders too. All right. So let's move on to the next area. After you realize and you start like detailing out your characters and you start like, you know, figuring out where all the placement goes and you get used to that. It takes time, guys. Like, do not assume that you will get this in like an afternoon. Okay, this is not something that is going to get easy in one evening. This is going to take a while to get good at it. You'll get decent really quickly. You'll get really good in time, but you'll get decent really quickly. Uh, you just have to learn to, first of all, not be scared to draw what you see. If a person has a big nose, draw a big nose. The point of caricatures is not to be nice to people. It is to exaggerate the features, and essentially, you are making fun of a person with the drawing. But it's supposed to be in good taste. It's not supposed to be insulting unless you're trying to insult the person. Now, political cartoons are very much like the biggest essence of caricatures. How did you get so good? Who taught you? Who taught me caricatures? No one taught me caricatures. Like, I went and I worked for SeaWorld for a little bit for a caricature company called Commons. I was a very, very brand new person, and I had just drawn a couple people at the mall just for fun, but I'm a good salesman. So I'm a ridiculously good salesman. So, regardless of me being able to draw good or not, I just sold it. I was like, all right, cool. I remember the group interview that we had because they had a group interview. And they asked us, why should we hire you? To which, in very broad fashion, I was like, well, I might not be the best artist from all of you, but I can outsell every single one of you guys in this room. So I will learn how to be a better artist, but you can't learn to be a better salesman that quick. So I was like, they were like, damn, you hired. Okay, who else? And then, I've always just had that attitude about things. If I don't know how to do it, I'm going to just go do it. Figure it out. Just figure it out on the way. Like, you will eventually either run into trouble, run into an obstacle that you can't overcome, and that's when you ask for help. Right? That's when you do research and stuff. But for the most part, if you want to get something done, and I was talking to my friend Jerry about this earlier because he wants to get a lot of things done too, and he has amazing ideas and he wants to create them, but he often just does not start on the projects. He has these amazing ideas and these concepts and this, but then he doesn't start it. So, that idea gets shelved, and then some other big idea comes, and then it's another big idea and another big idea, and then no ideas get done. Okay? So even if you are a brilliant person like Jerry is, he's the lack of focus on a single topic is sometimes something that stops you from accomplishing the goals that you want to accomplish. Okay, so when it comes down to caricature necks, there is a couple different fields about this. I personally like to just consider the upper part of the body as part of the caricature. So even if it's not necessarily small, I just draw it according to the person. So if the person's like a very lengthy, muscular person, like a basketball player, right? I would draw my neck considerably longer and add that as a feature to the caricature. Okay? So that would be to me, that's part of their character. But the other side of things, the other school of knowledge or of thought when it comes down to caricatures or drawing necks in caricatures, let's try to draw the same character roughly. A bigger chin. Whatever. Copy paste, huh? So if they ever invent real life copy and paste, oh, it's over. All right, so we have roughly the same character. But the other way that people like to draw caricatures is to like minimize everything else about the drawing. So what does that mean? So instead of maintaining the same proportions as like you would like a real human being, you end up making everything mini. Essentially creating the like a bobblehead. Now this can be taken to another extreme and literally not even draw like a neck. You just draw a body. Let me scroll. And that's the another way of going about drawing the elements in a caricature. So you can take it and approach it in a lot of different ways. It's just a matter of preference, and also if you are doing it for work, it really is a preference of the company. So they will not allow you to draw differently than what their product is. So I used to love drawing caricatures like this, but our company or management didn't really like approve that all that much. They wanted the little tiny chibi bodies like these. So eventually I just got tired of the way that they like function, the limitations that they set on you, and then after a couple years I left. Actually no, not a couple years. I was with that company on and off for like 10 years. 14 years I think. Okay. I wish I could just keep subbing, but one click only. Oh, thank you. You can always go subscribe to my TikTok and to my YouTube and to my Instagram. All that stuff helps. Bebop, Povo, draw for Kim. I'm so sad. Yeah, I'll have to do I'll see if I can do like a drawing kind of like he does with just like a single brush pen and just goes into the whole page. Like those things were amazing. It was so fascinating to see that. This is so much fun. Thank you for sharing. Oh, you're welcome. Let's see. What next aspect of caricatures? The hair. Hair is a very, very difficult part for most people. This stream will be on YouTube. It's already broadcasting on YouTube right now, so it automatically saves. And I just got to make a cover for it and then upload it. So it's already going to be on YouTube along with like hundreds of other videos. So all you 200 people that love or are liking this, first of all, hit that shit. Whee! And if you guys like what I do and you guys want to learn more from what I do, there's a lot of material for you guys to go and like learn. And if you subscribe on Instagram, you get a lot of free stuff. I'm working on building like this huge like magazine-ish type of thing with discounts and coupons and templates and fun things like challenges and all that shit. But that's going to be just for my subscribers because that's the way that I want to be able to actually make a living with this. So if I can manage to get up to a certain amount of subscribers, I can do this full time. I can just stream. And how cool would that be to have a permanent art teacher to be able to draw with anytime you feel like? That would be so cool. I would love that. It's $4.99 a month, peeps, and you get a lot. You get access to the newsletter. You get access to our Discord. Oh my god, our Discord has been so fun. And that's also the best place to ask your questions because I answer a lot of the questions I get from there. So, just saying. Help me out. You help yourself out. We all win. There's no loss. Anyways, let's continue with the lesson. So, when we're going on to girl hair especially, not necessarily boy hair, or, see, I can't be saying those terms either. Masculine, feminine, let's just call it hair, okay? We'll just call it hair and long hair, short hair. That's it. Like, we're not going to go into terms because I don't want to deal with that issue. So, we are going to have a couple faces with our chins and our two sides of our jaws. Some different, some wider, some skinnier. We'll just draw some different ones. Okay. So now that we have these, we're gonna draw some hair on each one of these. Let's draw them balded first, so you guys understand how to find the hairline and how to find all that stuff. Get some basic ears. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so now that we have that, the next step that I'm gonna need you guys to do is to subscribe, if you haven't. Oh yeah, I'm doing that. Anyways, to find the hairline, I like to find my eyebrows first. So if my eyebrows are at the top of my ears, that is the first thing that I'm going to do. If the eyebrow is down and then the other one up, you always take the distance from the highest. Actually, the only thing that you don't want to do is have the hairline be a tangent with the upper eyelash or eyebrow, right? So whenever you have an eyebrow that's up, or both eyebrows that are up, in this case, let's do them right here, right? They're above the the brow line. Or if you have them both down, that doesn't really affect your hairline. It's only going to affect the spacing in between. So whenever you move them up, the spacing between your hairline and your eyebrows is going to be shorter. When you have your eyebrows down, it's gonna be bigger. Okay? So a lot of people end up drawing the eyebrows up, and then they still draw the entirety of a forehead when they're not supposed to. And let me report the bot site real fast. Oh my god. These guys. Port. Okay, and then hide. There you go. Sorry about that, guys. All right. So as we continue down, all right, so the hairline is going to be a little bit above your eyebrows. So if you have the general space of your drawing, you have your eyebrows, the remaining space right here is essentially going to be divided in two. Okay? One is going to be the space for your forehead, and the other part is going to be for your hairline. If you have this open space and you have two different ones, go off the top one. I just find it easier to find a tangent with the most complex part of it, because if you did it with this one, the hairline would end up exactly conflicting with your eyebrow, creating a tangent, and tangents are bad. A tangent is when two lines connect and you can't distinguish which line goes where. And that happens in drawings a lot. So whenever that happens, you got to make sure that you don't. So in case of something like this, I would draw the lines more like that to create depth. If that makes any sense. Okay, so hopefully that does. No tangents. So a little bit above is going to be your hairline. These eyebrows are both up, right? So we're going to take the space from there, we're going to divide it in half, and we're going to come up with our hairline. These eyebrows are down, so we're going to take the highest point of the eyebrow, split this in half, and that's our hairline. Okay. The next step to drawing hair is figuring out the amount of volume your hair is going to have. Now, if you have buzz cut hair, that's really simple. All you gotta do is just color in inside of your head. Like your hair is literally the top of your head when you have buzz cut. It's just like fuzz, like we drew fuzz on the beard. It's just little cross hatches. Now, if you have volume, let's say you have like a mohawk or like a you know, flowy hair on the other side. You go and you find your hairline, wherever the hair is going to start going, and then you start drawing your hair coming out from that side. All the lines are going to flow from that initial hairline. And depending on how you draw it and what shape and how you want it to flow, you get some interesting shapes. Now, when it comes down to drawing hair like bangs or long hair, I like to draw it in 3 steps. The first step is drawing how the hair is attached to the head. In the case of a ponytail, it's getting pulled back onto like a little point in the back, right? Be it a bun or rubber bands or whatever. But all the hair is getting pulled back there, so all my lines are going to go back there. The next step that I like to take is to draw the background, which would be the element of the ponytail or the bun or buns or whatever you feel like drawing on it. Okay. And then the next step is to create the foreground, which consists of bangs, little twirlies of hair, or anything like that. So if you think about it in 3 stages, it becomes a little bit easier to draw more complex hairs. Let's say you want to draw a character that has like a little flame on the front because he's fiery, and that's his little bangs. So you can consider that his foreground. You can consider if he doesn't have like a background element like a ponytail or pigtails, and it's just 2 elements, the front and the middle ground. And then all the hair flows from where the hair originates. Hats and stuff like that just get added on top of your head shape. So they make it really easy to draw hats or anything like that as well. So that's how you would go about hair. If you had like really poofy hair like an afro, the hair would actually reach way... Pay attention to how far down the hair actually like protrudes from the head. The hair sometimes even flows way into the body, especially if it's long flowy hair. So keep inventory and like thought about how far down that actually goes. All right. And that would essentially be my intro class to caricatures. That would be how I would tell people to approach it. Diamond noses, simple eyes in the way of lines, curves, or dots. Keep it super simple for the eyes. The mouths, rubber band mouths, are going to be your best bet with caricatures because they're fun, they're simple, and all you need is negative space and a rubber band. Okay, your ears, pay attention to the general shape of them and then just add a little bit of detail inside. I like to do a little checker, like beep beep beep, down, up, down. And that creates normally enough detail for me to... Oh wait, you guys can't see it on YouTube. I think you guys can see it now. But the ears are normally super simple. And unless they have a distinguishing feature, like if they're old, you add a lot more detail on an old person's ear, mostly because more detail equals more age. Honestly, that's like actually an accurate like thing. Let's see, what else did we talk about? That's pretty much it. We'll talk about some more detailed work about caricatures later on. We have a little bit of space, I think, to draw our animal of the day. And somebody said that they wanted a certain animal, but I forget the name of it. And they wanted it in a milkshake. So, was it a corgi? It was a certain animal in a milkshake. A blocked dating site. I'm looking for learning from Ragan today, not looking for love. Why the heck? I don't know why there's a dating site thing on mine. Like, I don't understand why that comes up. Let's move this down. Let's move this a little bit. All right. A Pomeranian. Ooh. Let's see if I can draw a Pomeranian from memory. I unfortunately had to date a woman that had a very annoying Pomeranian. She was a lovely person, but her dog, oh dear God, the Jippy, oh, that dog would be so annoying. He would just jump all over the place, and he wasn't like one of those cuddly dogs. Like every time that you went and like try to play with them, he would be like, but then run around and like try to play with you, and then the moment you engage, it was so annoying. Pomeranian. Let's see. How do you draw a Pomeranian? I know they're poofy, so he's gonna be really poofy. Like he's gonna poof out of the glass. His little feetsies and stuff are gonna be right here, kind of like we have with the panda character we did yesterday. Mostly because he would be filling up the entirety of this. I forget if they have poofy tails or not. But this is mostly ice cream, so it doesn't matter. Their heads, they have really big ears, right? I think that's a feature of them. But we're gonna give him whipped cream on top of his head and a cherry. So all these little drawings of animals, at some point I will either make them into emojis, or I will make them into little stickers or something, and then offer them up to you guys. And if I'm not mistaken, they have the little like spots, but I don't remember where they have spots, but now it looks like a little fox. I think the Pomeranian has now officially become a little fox. I'm not completely opposed to that. That looks really cute. Some sprinkles. Okay, let's add a little bit of color. Pomeranians. The one that she was like yellowish orange, but let's make it like a brown. Like a light brown. And then we'll make them swimming in... Ooh, what kind of ice cream? Strawberry ice cream. Since we're going with pink. I'm gonna go with a little bit of pink, a little bit of red. Alright. And what should we call him? Name him Chappie. Oh, think of a... Okay, Chappie. Alright, there you go. Chappie. That's his name. The reason that we add pink on the top is so that the white from the whipped cream stands out. We add color around the glass, and we leave that edge of white so that it actually makes the glass stand out. So, what was his name? Chappie. Chappie. All right, Chappie. You are awesome. Thank you so much. Everybody, you guys are amazing. Appreciate every single one of you guys that tune in. Like always, there is ways to support my channel and what I do in the ways of buying my ebooks. They are in my Instagram story or in the link in my profile here. I think I actually fixed the one on TikTok. I'm not sure. For my people on YouTube, if you guys follow the links in the description, I believe that my store there is there. You guys can follow and buy my books there. You guys can book consultations. You guys can ask for portfolio reviews and sign up in my Instagram for my subscription and get all your free stuff that's coming. Because I love you all and I want to make sure that it's worth it for you all, right? It's gonna be pointless if I get people to subscribe to me and they don't get like 10 times their money's worth, because then I'm not doing my job. Okay, I am going to make sure that this is good for you guys so that it becomes a good thing for me, and that way we all benefit and we get happy all around. Yay! So I love you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Like always, I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for your awesome support and encouragement, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Take care.